Welcome to Pūroro Hātepe, the Regulatory Processes Committee. I'd like to ask Councillor Matthews if she'd like to...
For those in the room, whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei mauri ora.
It's very nice to be back in this room. We're pioneers. Yeah, welcome. Are there any apologies? I think there are just two, maybe are there two or three? Liz Kelly and His Worship the Mayor. So if I could move that motion that those apologies be taken. Deputy Mayor Free seconding. All those in favour? Oh, we've got our voting remotes. And that's been obviously unanimously passed. Conflict of interest declarations. Are there any conflicts of interest? No. Confirmation of the minutes. I move the motion that we confirm the previous meeting's minutes from the 16th of February. Thanks, Councillor O'Neill. I'll move that. All in favour? Buttons, green, or the old reactions from our Zoom participants, Councillor Condi and who else is online? Councillor Pannett, sorry, Ona. Oh, that was Terry. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit quick. Sometimes not so quick. Items not on the agenda. We actually don't have any items that are not on the agenda. Just slow down. We just need to. Oh, sorry. There we go. Apologies. Too busy gas bagging. So we do have some public participation. We have Clive Vernon first, and then Mike Mellor. So if Clive, you're on the line, you have.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. That's very clear. So fire away, and we welcome your participation.
Okay. Shall I? I want to speak to two of the TR things, TR 48/22 Robeson Street no stopping, and TR 49/22 Thane Road no stopping. Shall I just go ahead?
Absolutely, Clive.
Okay. For just a very quick little bit of background. I've lived in Robeson Street for 39 years. And Robeson Street, of course, connects into Thane Road, so that's why my interest in Thane Road as well. I have, in that 39 years that I've lived here, I've never had any access problems into Robeson Street. I know there's quite a lot of parking in the tight parking in the street, but access to me has not been a problem. I have seen one blockage in Thane Road, which was due to a car parked miles out from the curb, which I think caused a problem for the bus to go through. I've also, I've seen lots of, I think hopefully you're still there, I've lost your picture. I have seen lots of rubbish trucks, moving trucks, fire trucks, ambulances, and so forth, access Robeson Street in that time. So I'll quickly zoom on to the Robeson Street TR 48/22 and what my objections there are. For Robeson Street, the road outside number 2 and number 4 is 5 metres wide. In the documentation, it says it's 4.5 metres wide. Have I still got you guys?
Yes, you have.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. I've got some pictures now too.
I can see you too.
Excellent. The documentation says it's 4.5 metres wide, and it's in fact 5 metres wide, plus there's a 1 metre wide footpath there as well. So there's a little bit of an error in the documentation. And there's ample room for truck to pass while there are cars parked outside number 2 and number 4. I did send in a little video of a truck passing down the street with the cars parked there. I don't know whether you folks have seen that. So if you haven't, just take my word for it. There's a little video floating around somewhere with a truck quite easily going through there with the cars parked. So I'm not saying everybody has got through there without these troubles, but certainly there are a number of trucks that come up the street every week, rubbish trucks and what have you. I've had a concrete mixer truck up there within 18 months, and the person across the road's had a concrete mixer truck and pump trucks within this year. So it's quite feasible to get through there. As you get down there to the intersection with Thane Road, it does get a bit narrow. It gets down to 4.5 metres. So my view is, because there's parking in the road is pretty tight, and the parking is precious to us, I think we should compromise with the Robeson Street one and put 34 metres of broken yellow lines from the intersection with Thane Road up Robeson Street. That would lose us 6 car parks, but would retain the 6 car parks that are outside number 2 and number 4. And I think that would be quite a workable solution. And short of somebody parking, a metre out from the curb, I don't think there would be any problem with that. Any questions on my thoughts on Thane Road? Is that clear?
Yes, we have. Councillor O'Neill would like to ask you a question, Clive.
Yep, sure.
Kia ora, Clive. Thank you for coming to submit to us. My question is about the Thane Road 4922.
Haven't talked about that yet.
Oh, right. Okay, well, I can wait till the end then.
Yeah, you've only got a little bit of time left, Clive.
Okay, I'll just talk about Thane Road then very quickly. Thane Road, nearly all of Thane Road has parking limitations on one side. People tend to park on one side only, and there are 1 or 2 places where they park on both sides. So, in my view, it's a very wide road, like it's about 6.5 metres wide. That's wide for this area. My view is that for Thane Road, we should not put yellow lines on both sides of the road. We should put yellow lines on one side of the road only, on the eastern side of the road. And that would give plenty of room for the buses and the trucks and whatever else to go through there. Even with people parking well out from the curb, there would be tons of room there. Okay. Okay, any questions now?
Yeah, we're over time, but we will allow Councillor O'Neill to fire a question, and we're a little bit more flexible on this committee at times.
Thank you, Clive. I was going off your written comments as well, so just, take that out. I'm listening to you in conjunction with that. You submitted that you believe Thane Road should be installed on the eastern side of the road. And the officer response is that we originally looked at that but decided against it because they wanted cars to be able to park on the footpath side of the road. Did you have a response to that as someone living in the area? Do you think that's a sensible idea to be able to have the car closer to the footpath or be able to have to cross the road to get to the footpath? Or I was just wondering your comment on that one.
I'm flexible on that. I think possibly the people that live there would know better than me what's the best for them. The only thing I'd say there is that at present, everybody parks on the other side of the road.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Clive.
Okay.
Are we just away? Councillor Pannant, did you have a question too? Go for it.
Sorry, Councillor Wolf, I was just saying goodbye to the public participant.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, just to acknowledge. Thank you very much, Clive. Thank you.
Appreciate it. No, that's fine.
I really appreciate coming in with the Zoom. That's really great. It's a lot safer, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Mike Mellor, are you around, Mike? Oh, there he is. Good to see you again.
Your councillors, I am. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. Our submission, as you've probably seen, is fairly general. It's more strategic rather than looking at the individual traffic resolutions in particular. But we support the initiatives that the council is taking to improve the pedestrian environment, particularly with the references to trying to get a handle on vehicles parking on the footpath, and also on the improvements for the buses, with the close connection between buses and walking. So we made comments on a variety of proposals there, generally supportive. Some of them we went into a bit more detail. In particular, Pūroro Road is a very interesting road, particularly from a pedestrian point of view, because it's it's a disaster from a pedestrian point of view. There are cars parked on the footpath all over the place, and it's probably maybe not relevant to this particular traffic resolution. But one of the issues there is there's an edge line along the road, which is very close to the curb, and people parking take that as a limit to how far they should park out into the road, which means they park on the footpath. So it encourages footpath parking, and there are other places around the city like that, but we think that's probably the worst. So if you could look at that, as well as in carrying on with the good work in looking at broken yellow lines and other footpath parking solutions, and ways of making it easier and better for buses to get through. And that's me.
Thank you, Mike. As per usual, good feedback. Appreciated. Okay, so now we're moving on to general business, and I think Maria is online to regarding the proposed road closures.
Good morning, councillors.
Welcome, Maria.
So this morning I'm bringing to the committee the Rosler Shield. Now, the Rosler Shield is an athletic event that's always never closed the road, ever, but it is an iconic event, and they're just wanting to close the road this year because the participation of the event has increased dramatically. So it's so the participants can actually cross Alexandra Road at 2 or 3 points during the event. And of course, the Gasley Marathon hasn't been held for a couple of years, so they're going to try that again and see how we go, with particular focus on the businesses in Miramar Peninsula and also around Oriental Bay, where there's a miscommunication, which is what we're going to really try and cover off this year. That's me. You got any questions?
Any questions, councillors? No, I think that that's very clear. I'm happy to move if we have a seconder. Councillor Matthews, thank you. Just with the normal process of the buttons and the reactions for those of you online, all in favour. Those against, which I don't think there will be any. Fantastic. And
thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria. That was a really good report too. Thank you. Yeah, Liz is here. Yeah, welcome, Liz. Yeah, sorry, I should have. Siobhan, would you like to move the traffic resolutions, please? Introduce them. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
Marina, councillors. So yes, delighted to introduce our traffic resolutions. We put 28 traffic resolutions out for consultation in February and March. And before you, we have presented 23. 4 were withdrawn due to public opposition, and 1 has been deferred as we do some further investigation. So all of these traffic resolutions seek to meet our strategic objectives of improving safety, mode shift by improving public transport and accessibility. And I have Sun Tek Kong here to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. There are some questions, I believe, Councillor Free.
Yes, I just wondered if there's any response to those suggestions, particularly the one about Robeson Street, shortening the restriction so that it wouldn't affect quite so many car parks, and whether there's some officer feedback on that.
Good morning, Chair, Deputy Mayor, and councillors, and Liz Kelly. Yes, I think the suggestion about shortening the broken yellow lines is a good option to trial. Because what we did was we were concerned about vehicles parking on the footpaths, which is a common practice. And by shortening it, we can sort of show that whether we need to extend it in the future, because I think the issue we're trying to resolve there was more about vehicle parking on the footpath on that side, which is narrow. So cars were doing it, causing pedestrians some difficulty. So that's why we address the whole length. But if the committee decides that it's an option to be trial, we can amend it. But at this point, I would suggest we go for the whole section where the footpath is.
Well, I probably would be willing to put up an amendment that we trial a shorter restriction and see how it goes. And maybe we do need to give feedback to our residents that if a parking on the footpath problem persists, then people are likely to complain, and we'll be likely to be having to put the yellow lines in. So, but I would be willing to move an amendment to try a shorter restriction for now.
Yeah,
so if you could craft me up something, or if I don't know if that would have committee support, of course, but yeah.
This request came from the parking services because they were doing enforcement, and that's what they observed. So, yeah, it wasn't coming from the residents, it's more from parking services.
Okay, but the same thing would apply if people are continuing to you break the rules in that respect, they're likely to find we want to put yellow lines in. Yeah. So that we need to get that message out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know if as Siobhan.
Sorry, Chair.
Yeah.
Zach Rudy looks like he has his hand up. He might have something to add to that.
Yes. Hello all. So part of the final proposal of the traffic resolution for that one has actually been shortened to just to only 49 metres. If I'm able to share my screen, I can show you both the original consultation and the current one. Let's see if I can share my screen.
Sure.
Sorry, not that one. So this is the current proposal. So it was originally up here, and it's been shortened down to outside too.
Sorry, Zach, your screen share hasn't worked. I can't see that right now.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
So currently, originally it was up here for the broken lines, but we've shortened it down to about here.
Councillor Free,
I think
Deputy Mayor Free.
the suggestion from our submitter was that it should be more like 34 or 35 metres rather than 40, whatever it is. Is it possible that it could be shortened further, or in your view, do you think it's at the minimum we can do now?
Yeah, so down this, as the submitter suggested, like further up, it's above about 5 metres up here, and then it just gets narrower as you go down. I believe it is about 4.8 down to 4.2 through the section here. So we would be struggling to get people to park appropriately in there. If I share this is about where it is now, up to about here. And as you can see, residents are currently parking on the footpath. And pushing them out further on this little type bend might start causing problems.
Thank you for adjusting it to the point where you have. It does look like it is quite narrow. I won't be wanting to change that any further at this point.
Yeah, so this is where it was originally, up to about this point here. We've pulled it back down to about here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any more questions of officers? I'm not necessarily just with this traffic resolution, but some of the others. Councillor Condi. And then Councillor
If you
Pennant.
think, yeah, Councillor Pennant had her hand up first. If you want to go first, Lena.
I'm happy for you to go. It's all good.
Councillor Conti, go for it.
All right. Let's have a look at where I am. Let's start with Russell Terrace. One of the submitters requested that we put some broken yellow lines on the southbound side of Russell Terrace from the Newtown Park entry to the entry for the hockey ground. And I was just wondering if looking at the picture of where they're asking for that, it looks quite sensible. Did officers have any specific feedback about that, and will that become, would that need a further traffic resolution, or could it be done under delegation?
The nature of the road, Chair, is that the road is very straight. We have already put broken yellow lines around the bend. Because it's a straight section of road, the forward visibility between opposing vehicles are good. So we would not we would not recommend broken yellow lines on that section of road, because at this point it's not blocking any visibility, is not causing any issues.
But it would, if someone was parking there, essentially you would have to go out into the other lane around them. Is that correct?
Yes, because the forward visibility is adequate for someone to slow down and allow opposing vehicles to pass. But at this point, there's no safety issues that we can identify to put yellow lines.
I guess my question is, how much traffic do you need to have on a road before we would consider that unacceptable? Essentially, that a car would have to move out into the other lane and go around. I mean, at some point, if there's significant traffic, that's going to start to create an issue, right?
Yes, when the conflict becomes high, then we would yellow line it.
Okay, but in this on Russell Terrace, we're not near that traffic count.
We're not at that level yet. Yes.
Thank you, Soon. Just moving on to Court Road, we had a submitter who from 6 and number 8 Court Road who are concerned they won't be able to exit their driveway if cars are parked opposite them. Officers have said that they don't think that that's going to be an issue. Can we, what is officer advice based on that they believe that access to those driveways will be maintained with that parking?
The current situation with Court Road is that the cars are able to park on both sides of the road, and not only on both sides but adjacent to driveways. So the driveway that the submitters has highlighted, someone would be able to legally park 1 meter from their driveway, and if parking is on the other side, that really restricts his access. But because the broken yellow lines is now taken or put in on their side of the driveway, they can actually turn earlier and not restricted by a narrow gap. So from that assessment, we determined that they're able to get out of their driveway.
Okay. And if it turns out that they are having trouble getting out of their driveway, can we reach out to them and let them know what they should do if that becomes an issue?
Yes.
Like to get back in touch with us?
Yes, we will do that. Thanks.
Thank you. That'd be great. So appreciate it.
Thanks.
Kaikoura Street. Oh yeah, I was just wondering, several submitters mentioned the bus stops on this one, and I was reading it and I couldn't see on the picture where the bus stops were, and I'm not familiar with the area.
The bus stops are on, to the north of that picture. It's basically the reason for the yellow lines on the band is people were crossing the center line, and buses were doing that, and cars coming down were not able to sit, so we just put yellow lines around the corner, and the bus stop is a paired bus stop at the top of that page.
Right, further up. Okay, thank you. On Medway Street, so on Medway Street, it looks like we're losing one P60 space to extend the bus box. Can we create an additional P60 space nearby to compensate for that loss? Is there an unrestricted space nearby that we could convert?
Yeah, that is part of the overall changes that we are planning for Island Bay, the parade, because as part of the cycleway, we have to do parking arrangement on the side street, so it will be included as part of that exercise.
Okay, so when we come back and fix the parking as part of the, or change the parking as part of the town centre upgrade, we're going to return that. We're going to go back to the same number of P60 parks we had prior to this traffic resolution.
We would include that P60 as part of the adjustment of parking on the side street.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that once we're done with all the changes around here, that the businesses continue to have the same number of P60 spaces. So that's great.
On that part, yeah.
Yeah. Quebec Street, I found this really unusual, and I would really appreciate it if you could just talk me through it, because I don't think I've ever seen a bus stop blocking a driveway and that being proposed. So if you could just talk me through kind of the history of this one, because it just feels like there probably must be context that I'm missing.
This area was before the changeover was a turnaround for buses. When it was changed into a terminus, regional council proposed to have this bus stop outside the driveway. Now, because it's a bus stop and not a bus park, buses will be stationary for a short time and they move away, and the driver will be in attendance. So it's quite a common practice to have bus stop outside driveway because of their temporary nature, and not block someone because they're parking, but they are not parking, they're just stopping.
All right, so essentially if somebody pulls up and they want to go into the dairy or the fish and chip shop, the bus driver's right there and they'll be able to move the bus.
Yes.
Okay. The other question I had is there any way that the bus stop, the hours could be time limited to reduce the effect, or do they really need that bus stop 24/7?
It's a 24/7 bus stop because we have time restricted certain bus stop to allow the residents to use it or access to be unimpeded. So in this particular case, it would be a.
Okay, so they really need it 24/7.
I can ask the question, but I'm sure it's a scheduled bus service.
Yeah, it would be good to check with GW just whether they do need it 24/7 or whether it could be time limited. Yeah. If they need it 24/7, then they do, and that's less. But if it could be time limited, that might just minimise the impact on those businesses.
Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Condi. Councillor Pennant.
Thanks very much for your work on this. Sorry. Living Streets gave quite a long list of feedback on everything, and we didn't always get a response on each thing. I'm just wondering, is it possible to sort of sort out some of these issues with them at a high level, and so they don't need to keep making individual submissions?
We can do that, approach with Living Street. The reason why we have encouraged them to submit on individual ones is to show that we are taking action on addressing some of the issues. So this is more operational part, but on the high level, we can discuss with them to address all the objectives. Yeah,
it's just a bit hard when you're looking at each one just to see that we're getting all of them right and are consistent. Now, the other thing was around the canopy at the Berempore bus stop. Can I just check that canopy would be covered by a verandas bylaw? Make sure it
has been withdrawn or deferred from today.
Oh, sorry, I'd missed that. Sorry, in the papers. Yeah. Apologies. Right. Well, could I have an answer on that anyway? Because I just assumed it was, and I would expect, obviously, that people would keep their canopies in good order, and we would try and get the best kind of outcome in a tight space.
I'm not familiar with the veranda requirement because currently that building has been changed from a dairy to a residential. And
it
looks like Zach might have a comment.
Oh, yep, cool.
As Soon said, it's been changed from a dairy to residential property. And even then, even if we move the bus stop, the veranda's still been hit by trucks in general, and it's costing the owners a lot of money to continuously repair and keep it up to good order. And they've tried in the past to have it removed, but I think there's been a recent change with the consents for verandas, and it should be able to be removed. But there's also other applications that we would kind of consider, like maybe just shortening it, but the building itself can't take a cantilever structure, and there's a lot of services in the middle of the footpath, so we can't put posts. Yeah, so the only option is to have it removed.
Yeah.
So if it's been
Just through the chair.
Yeah, Councillor Pennant, I'm not sure that this is relevant to this committee, really.
well, no, it is, because I just, when it comes back, I just want the issue resolved. I mean, the verandas is part of the reason that the bus stop can't stay there.
Councillor Pennant, officers will give you a ring a little later.
Yeah, okay. That's probably easier. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor, Deputy Mayor Free, sorry.
And you may be about to tell me that this one isn't relevant either, but it sort of does have a bearing on the Island Bay situation. So I noticed, as well as the bus stop, there's actually bus parking near the corner, and it did occur to me that there's a very wide median in Derwent Street, and I wondered if it's possible to have a bus layover somewhere else, because that parking is going to be and it's possibly something I need to take offline with you. But
Deputy Mayor, I think this is exactly the same situation.
Yeah, it is.
Some of these things should be taken off.
It is. It's sort of it is an area-wide issue, but yes, it's not particularly this particular
Point taken.
problem. Yes.
But we really, yeah. I think Councillor Condi's got another question. Your hand's up.
Thank you, Chair. It is up. I have two more. It shouldn't take too long. On Rental Street, again, there's a loss of one P60 parking space outside of the medical centre for a disability or mobility park, which is wonderful. We want more mobility parks, but they were concerned about that loss. Again, is there a nearby space anywhere there that we could convert from unrestricted to P60 to kind of compensate for that?
We would want the medical centre to actually, canvas with their neighbours to support the P60 space, because currently all the P60 is right outside the medical centre. Anything adjacent to it are outside residential properties. So we just want some support before we put something forward and have a big debate.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. I just think whenever we're losing time restricted parking outside of business, if we can make the effort to try and find a space nearby, that's helpful. My last question is about Robertson Street. We had submitted from 20 Robertson Street who said they have cars who are basically parking too close to their driveway and sometimes across their driveway. Are we able to just go out there and paint broken yellow lines across their driveway and 1 metre either side as they've requested?
Yes, we are in the process of doing it under delegation. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? No. Thank you, Soon. Thanks, Siobhan, as well.
Chair,
appreciate it.
Me and
we had a few extra questions there that you probably wouldn't have expected normally, but that's okay. Yeah, thank you. So I'll move. Do I have a seconder? Is there any debate?
Sorry, who's the seconder?
Rebecca. Sorry, Letitia.
I'll say something.
Okay.
Yeah, just very quickly, thank you. I mean, I think that sort of very robust questioning process showed the good work and proactive work that is happening with these. And I just, to echo, I guess, Mike Mellor's comments, these broken yellow lines, and for my own self, any, like mobility parks, this is great. So it's just a pleasure. We're just kind of chipping away at these things.
Thank you, Councillor Matthews. Councillor Condi, this is your area.
Just to come in as well and say fantastic work and thank you to all the staff, especially reassuring whenever I come and ask questions and you tell me that you're already on to that is great. So really appreciate all the work that's going into this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Condi, and ditto from all of us, I think. You guys do a magnificent job, sometimes under some trying situations. But you work with the community, and I think that that's a really good thing. So I will, if there's no further debate, we have a motion on the table. So let's just vote accordingly when I find my Yeah, and that is carried unanimously. So we move on to our forward program and our action tracking, which I'm going to move both in block. But yeah, prior to, Liam's going to have a...
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so taken as read, councillors, both reports. We've got the Chief Infrastructure Officer here to answer questions on the forward program, and the action tracking is self-explanatory. So,
are there any questions, councillors? No, I didn't think there would be. I thought that would be good. So yeah, I have pleasure in moving both the forward program and the action tracking. And do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill, would you like to say anything? No. I'll vote and put this to the vote. Thank you. And that's passed and carried unanimously. Thank you very much. So that is us for today. And I'd just like to thank officers. Letitia, this is your first regs meeting, and I think you handled everything really, really well, particularly the pre-meeting. You've got a good mentor, Lacey, so thank you. And the officers that have presented at the meeting, thank you all very much as well. So I'll end with the karakia, if we could all stand. Unahia, ki te uru tapanui, kia wātia, kia māma, te nākau, te tinana, te wairo. I te ara takatū, koia ara e rongo, whakaria a ke rikiranga, kia wātia, ara kura wātia. Thank you very much, everybody, and I call this meeting to a close.
Thank you, Simon. Councillor Sparrow would be proud.